and welcome to Seattle Unity. We're so glad to have you in the room with us. And for all of you joining us online, welcome. Please stand as you are able and join us in this song. I am as God created me.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Oh, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. All right, I'm going to ask my drummer. His name is Riff, by the way. Isn't that great? Riff, a drummer. Get it? Okay. I'm going to ask him to speed it up just a little bit, because I think we can do it. 2, 3, ow! I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Yeah, do that again. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Second part, a little different. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am, yeah. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. All right, so a bunch of you will see other people going, light, love, glory, voguing, whatever, Macarena. You don't have to do any of that stuff. In Unity, you're allowed to completely be like, I decline, I am in grief, or I just don't like that. For any reason whatsoever, you don't have to explain it. However, if you are willing and you do want to experience a little bit more, then hands out of your pockets is good, even though you have nothing to do with them. Ah, it's so awkward. It's okay. There's a little thing you can do, and it's light, love, or glory. Or if you know ASL, you can do that version of it. Or you can Macarena to the light, the love, and the glory. Yeah. 2, 3. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. And harmonies are good. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Second part, in the light. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am I. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. That's beautiful. Let's pray on that.
And so we take a moment to turn our attention within as we know the truth of our opening statement. So let's affirm it together. There is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
That's part one, kind of quietly, and we'll take it sort of internalizing it to make it really true. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Once again. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Part one again, a little louder. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. And again. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Part two, in the light. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am, yeah. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. One last time, part one. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Last time. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. and welcome to Seattle Unity, both in-house and at home. So let's turn to our prayer for the future. Let's affirm it together. Divine love flows through Seattle Unity. As our congregation grows, we are blessed with deep and lasting friendships. We share creative ideas that spark new ways of being. We give generously from a place of abundance. We are empowered to do good in the world. Can I get an amen? All right, so for those watching at home, please type in where you're watching from, as well as any prayer requests that you may have. So we want to find out if there are any visitors with us for the very first time. Anybody here for the first time? Want to keep your hand up if so. We have visitor packets somewhere, and welcome. And so we'll get around to those when, when we find them. Thank you for being with us. Okay. And then you might want to raise your hand when they come around. So a couple of announcements. One is on August 16th, I'm going to be leading astrology workshop called The Timekeepers. And the Timekeepers are Jupiter and Saturn, so it's about how do we expand out into the world, and then also how are we tested with our limitations. So that'll be on August 16th, which is a Saturday. Karen R. has an announcement about our open house on August 8th. Will you welcome her?
Hi, as Rev Karen says, I'm Karen R. I'm the office manager here at Seattle Unity. I know that a lot of you have spoken with me about helping at the open house on Friday. Well, it's time to get organized. I'll be on level 3 upstairs after the service for a quick orientation session. Please stop by so we can place people at each station and take a moment to think about setup and wording for each one. Also, if any of you online or in the room have any friends who love ice cream, dogs, or kids, well, you'll want to invite them to stop by this Friday, October 8th. Nope, August 8th, 2 to 4 p.m. Thank you.
And now Carl has an announcement. Yay, Carl. Yay, Carl.
Well, I did a run through and it was impossibly ponderous, so I'm going to try and lighten it up a little bit. We are living in challenging times, and a response to what's happening in the country seems necessary. If you feel the same way, I invite you to meet next Sunday, August 10th, after the service at 11:30, to discuss what is happening and actions we can each take. I'll share a 45-minute presentation from 1 Million Rising. They were a sponsor of the No Kings March in June. Then we'll brainstorm actions we could take within our own spheres of influence, including commitments we could each personally make to create change. We'll close the meeting at 1 p.m. We'll meet again Sunday, September 7th, to draft a possible collective action we could take as a church group to share with the congregation. I hope you'll consider joining me to help turn the tide and create a brighter, more hopeful future for our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. And so our chat prompt for those of you at home, here's your discussion question: what area of your life feels the most creative? And we can share that here too in the room, but let's all stand and greet one another.
standing as you are able. We're going to sing another song together. These songs are meant to get your body moving a little bit, move your spine a bit. And our theme for this month, this is the kickoff of a new monthly theme. The theme this time is art and creativity. And I know a bunch of you are big into the art and creativity, but that whole process, especially for those who aren't accustomed to doing it all the time, starts with just giving yourself permission to do something, giving yourself permission. And this is Karen Drucker. Many of you already know it. I encourage you to move, allow that spine to move during this song. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. All right, that's great. And if your version of permission is pretty small, I respect that. And you're also allowed to make it larger. So I've told these guys, you know, several of these are actually also reverends. We have 1 million reverends in the house today. Anyway, on that yeah, because we just ship them in. On the words passionate and free, I invite you, if it's in you, to take that moment and let yourself do something physically that is a little bit bigger than is your comfort zone. You have the assurance that someone next to you is also out of their comfort zone. You can look at each other and be like, yeah, we're awkward. And that's a good thing. And it's all right if that's not authentic for you this morning. You can sit back and let us awkwardly dance for you. Let's try. I give myself permission. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. Beautiful. That was a lot better. All right. Hey, Monique.
Yes, Aaron.
If you were to give someone or something permission, what would it be?
A new one for me is love.
I give my love permission to be all it can be, to live passionate and free. All right, that's a little scary, because what if I love, okay, anyway.
All
1,
on
2,
you,
3,
Aaron.
4. I give my love permission to be all it can be. I give my love permission to live passionate and free. I give my love permission to be all it can be. I give my love permission to live passionate and free. That was nice. All right, Francis.
Why, yes, Aaron.
If you were to give something or someone permission to be all it, she, he, they could be, what would it be?
My friends.
Oh,
I'm going to give all of them permission, even the ones in jail.
you didn't say that in rehearsal. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give my friends permission to be all they can be. I give my friends permission to live passionate and free. I give my friends permission to be all they can be. I give my friends permission to live passionate and free. All right, let's take a couple from you. I give my what? I give my nation. Oh, she doesn't want to. I see it. I see that. You don't want to give it. So this is very new thought of us, isn't it? I affirm, I affirm, I affirm. I give my nation. I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give my nation permission to be be all it can be. I give my nation permission to live passionate and free. I give my nation permission to be all it can be. I give my nation permission to live passionate and free. All right, give me one more. Anyone have one? We'll go. Self is, that's the root one. We're going to come back to that one at the very end. What did you say, Christopher? I give my soul permission. Wow. I didn't know I had to give my soul permission. Well, just in case. Just in case, I'm going to give it permission. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give my soul permission to be all it can be. I give my soul permission to live passionate and free. I give my soul permission to be all it can be. I give my soul permission to live passionate. Now let's do self. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate, and once again I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission 3 times to live passionate and free, to live passionate and free, to live passionate and free. Well done. Thank you. Please be seated. So the whole first part of the service is meant to really shake things out, open you up. Because in the second part, we're going to go into a more contemplative mode, and the center of that contemplation is a silent meditation that we'll share together. It's usually only about 3 to 4 minutes, but I encourage you to become comfortable in your chairs now. If there's some outerwear you want to take off, whatever your body feels like when it's doing meditation. Our first step into this new contemplative space comes through a reading, and today this comes from my friend Kevin Young.
Blessing for Sound by David White. I thank you for the smallest sound, for the way my ears open even before my eyes, as if to remember the way everything began with an original, vibrant note. And I thank you for this everyday original music, always being rehearsed, always being played, always being remembered as something new, and arriving a tram line below in the city street, gull cries, or a ship's horn in the distant harbor, so that in waking I hear voices even when there is no voice, and invitations where there is no invitation, so that I can wake with you by the ocean in summer or in the deepest, seemingly quietest winter, and be with you so that I can hear you even with my eyes closed, even with my heart closed, even before I fully wake.
My friend Mario will sing this a couple of times, and join in when you can.
Let go, let be, and receive the Spirit in all things. Let go, let be, and receive the Spirit in all things.
Receive the Spirit in all In my end is a beginning. I have only just begun. I am deeper than the ocean. I am brighter than the sun. I am endless shades of color. I'm as constant as the air. I am love. I am truth. I am free. I'm flowing like a river. I'm as open as the sky. I'm older than creation. You will find me if you try. I'm as graceful as the raven, flying swiftly through the air. I am love, I am truth, I am free. Free in the truth, you're free. In your love I see what you've done to me. Free in the truth, you're free. In your love I see what you've done to me. I am mystery, I am wonder. I am darkness, I am light. We are struggle, we are sorrow. We are death and we are life. Endless shades of color, constant as the air. Love, truth, free. Struggle, sorrow, death, life, endless shades of color, constant as the air. Love, truth, free, free. In the truth you're free. In your love I see what you've done to me. Free. In the truth we're free. In the love I see what you've done to me. Free. I am free. Mystery, wonder, death, life, endless shades of color, constant as the air. Love, truth, free. One more time, join in. Free. In the truth you're free. In your love I see what you've done to me. Free. In the truth you're free. In the love I see what you've done to me. In the love you're free. In the truth I see what you've done to me.
Ben Black.
So it is a great joy for me to introduce one of the Revs in the house today, and that is my good friend and colleague, Reverend Sonia Perez. And we went to ministerial school together, and we have remained friends. And it was just synchronistic that she said she was going to be here on vacation during this time when we're starting this new theme of art and creativity. So I think I also need to thank her husband, Thomas, and son, Teo, because I'm not sure coming to church was top of their vacation list. But it was a couple years ago, Sonia and I were at Unity Convention, and we were talking about it'd be really fun to do a project together, some sort of creative project. And so we said, what would it be like if we wrote a book together, and what would that be? And it turned out we were both thinking for a while that it would be really helpful and useful if we could take co-founder Charles Fillmore's writings and somehow make them more accessible and contemporary. Who's tried to read Charles Fillmore? Okay, there's a few of you. If you haven't, just go downstairs out of the library, pick up a book. So the challenge is that many of what was put into a book was him just lecturing, and it's like stream of consciousness, right? And so we got together and we were talking about, well, you know, there's some real gems in there. It would be great if we could get together and make that more accessible and kind of modern day language. And so since we're also in this theme of art and creativity, we're going to do a little different format this morning, and we're going to sit up here and we're going to have a conversation, and you all get to be part of that conversation. And we could go on for hours, but, you know, we won't make you stay here for hours. So please join me, Reverend Sonia.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank y'all. Thank you, Reverend Diane. I tease, and I've told her when the first time I met her that I've been wanting to move to Seattle since I was in my 20s, and this is the first time I've been here, and I'm 55. So, and my husband is actually counting how many times I say I'm moving to Seattle.
That was 5.5, right? Oh, so that's 7. Yeah. And she's also a Toby dog mama.
I am.
So,
I am.
Yes,
I
we
am.
have that in common
We
as
all
well.
have that.
Something that we've been holding in this idea of a project is the why, which I think is always a good place to kind of be, is like, well, why would we do this? Why would anyone care or listen?
Right.
And so, Sonia, why the heck continue to read or listen to Chuck?
Well, first, right? First, I love that you say that we're working on a book, because that means we have to, right? So y'all are now our accountability partners for doing that. So I love that. Thanks for that. And the why, you know, part of it is that in my personality, I tend to be very stubborn. And I find it frustrating to have something that I feel like I don't understand or can't understand, or we're told we can't, you know, we can't whatever. And so it's like that part of me is like, oh no, I will. I am going to understand this. So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is like, now that I like to say further along in my spiritual path, right? I don't mean that to be, I will audaciously say that. I'm further along in that path. And I want to see, what has he written that I have not heard, right? Or not heard because I wasn't ready yet, or just like Reverend Diane says, don't know yet. And so I think that's that's one of my driving forces.
Yeah, and I find growing up in Unity, I've read the Fillmore books multiple times, and I still find gems. I still, you know, like I shared last week, there's still things I'll read like of Myrtles or Charles, and I'm like, oh, it lands in a different way, or I hear it in a different way, or it stands out for me. But still, so we're talking, you know, Charles Fillmore lived, you know, 80 to 130 years ago.
Right.
And it's been a little bit of time.
A little bit.
So what still makes it relevant?
You know, this is no shock that comes to us. I feel like right now we're just living in this moment where just the idea of truth is under suspicion, right? Or under fire, right? And this idea of who's even telling the truth, right? And I can get lost in that, and I can become very self-righteous in what that is. And so what I love and what you've been saying to is right truth. Truth makes us free. And so the idea with Charles Fillmore is we know that there is one truth with a capital T. And the idea of that one truth is that there is, you know, one God, one intelligence, in the universe. And that, when I just sink into that, I feel like that grounds me. It reminds me of my absolute belonging so that I don't get lost in all of that other stuff, or which I still do, but it keeps me, there's always that option and that practice about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think through the centuries, we've had spiritual teachers and philosophers that have brought these truths, which to me, that's just spiritual principles, forward. But at any given point in time, we kind of hear it in a new way, and we have those individuals that'll present it in a new way or put it together in a new way so that it's contemporary in a way that we can hear it and use it and make it applicable to our lives. And I feel that that is one of the gifts that Myrtle and Charles Fillmore kind of gave to us and continues to kind of carry through time, even as unity continues to evolve.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
So I have this quote from Charles Fillmore that I love, and it says, to be one with principle of all intelligence is to know. And when you know, you will find yourself so broad in judgment and understanding that you will have clarity and charity for all that differ from you in religion, metaphysics, and even politics. So even in that time that Charles Fillmore was living, there was division at that time. And so, as Sonia, as you were saying, that idea of coming back to principle is our root, is our grounding point. So you've already alluded to it a little bit, but what do you think some of Chuck's wisdom would be for us today in these times of feeling so divided?
So he writes in The Development of Divine Love that honestly we need to do the inner work more of just fostering and developing divine love. There's this quote, he says, the more we talk about love, the stronger it grows in the consciousness. And if we persist in thinking loving thoughts and speaking loving words, we are sure to bring it into our experience, the feeling of that great love that is beyond description, the very love of God. And so he says that obviously that God is wise, and we also have to work on that peace, that love peace, and that love peace that is the harmonizing principle. And the other thing I love about, as we know, that there's always a practical application. So even if you get lost in his language, right, he always still grounds us in a practice. And what he says is we just have to constantly say, I am love. I am the abode of love. And when anything we see that is anything other than love, or even he uses the word, he calls it the so-called evil in the world, with the so-called evil, he said we deny the appearance of it. Deny the appearance of whatever that so-called evil is and keep using this creative power of love and loving it and then trusting it will grow into goodness. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think, if Chuck was alive today, if Charles was alive today, I think he'd keep bringing us back to principle, as you said, to root us in principle.
Right.
And interestingly, what we talk about is our Unity 5 principles. They weren't actually written down during the time when Charles and Myrtle lived. They were actually written much later in, I think, the 80s, 1980s.
Yeah. Right.
But when you kind of read their writing, it's the 5 principles repeatedly, over and over and over. And, in our second principle, it's about, seeing that divine essence in another person. And I think what that also looks like is if we see times or we see situations where humans and people are not being treated as the divine beings they are, with human dignity and worth and care, that we're called to call that out as well. So I think that can be part of Unity's evolution, is always grounding and beginning. Charles would always say, ground and be in the inner work, do the inner work as your foundation. But then how does that show up, and what does that look like when we go out into the world and express and show up and call out the things that we're called to call out?
Right, because we're here to demonstrate it. And like our 5th practice, it's not enough to know it, we must also act it, right? And that's that piece. It's self-responsibility and then acting it out. So I have a question for you. Are you ready?
Sure.
All righty. What do you see as some of the benefits of exploring the Fillmore's writings and teachings for today?
Well, I kind of already hit on it. I always go back to practical action, and you guys hear that a lot. So sometimes I feel like a broken record. But for me, that's really the heart and one of the greatest gifts of unity, and that begins with that inner work. And I like this other quote by Charles Fillmore where he says, "Our manner of deciding whether or not certain statements are true or false is to apply the mental bias with which heredity, religion, and social custom has environed us, or else to fly to some man-made record of authority." And I feel like this could be so true today as well, right? Is that idea of flying to some external source, being kind of lost in our own biases. So it takes that work of bringing to consciousness what are our biases. Yeah. Now, when he says, flying to some man-made source of authority, well, he and Myrtle were reading a lot of material. They were taking in information, but always they would then take that within, right? And that's the inner work. They would take it within and they'd use spiritual discernment, meditation to see, is that true for me? Is that true? Is that showing up true in the world around me right now? So this is something else that Charles wrote, and I hadn't seen it before, and it kind of surprised me because we've been talking about this also in our kind of world religions discussion. And it says, in his writings, he says, religion is a science. It is the science of life. And I was kind of surprised by that because I would think that most people wouldn't define religion in that way, but he really defined it as science and the science of life. And you'll see throughout his writing, and I think that's where it brings it back to how is it applicable, that it's truly a science about how we live daily. And so if you were to apply Fillmore's teachings to kind of a current problem today, no small question.
I know, right? My entry, when I really started practicing with myself, was with a problem and a health challenge. And my entry was actually with Myrtle Fillmore because when I sit with her, she feels like a friend, that we're having tea and we're talking. And I had a health challenge and I needed to become well. And so I did exactly what she said, and grateful for those practices. And so it makes me feel, and it reminds me that like when I was in that illness, it wasn't that I didn't have an illness, is that I was not going to believe that it had power over me. And so that's what I love about these teachings and about Chuck, is that, and I wrote something that I want to share, it's like we are not passive subjects in a complicated world, but rather we are powerful agents in a complex world, and we are imbued with greater powers and possibilities than we can ever imagine. And I feel like that's what he gives us and offers and what we can practice. It's so easy to like believe in the error, whatever that is. And it can also, here's the part that gets tricky, right? Because I would never like say, oh, well, you're just error belief and you're struggling and that's your fault. Like that's wrong. That's spiritual malpractice. I would never do that. But I can take responsibility for how I am doing that in my life and know that there's a power greater than whatever I'm seeing as that struggle.
Yeah, there's a quote that many of you have heard before. With great power comes great responsibility. I attribute it, Spider-Man, Uncle Ben. Turns out it's actually, or I hear it's from the French writer Voltaire, but most of us, Uncle Ben, yeah, Spider-Man. But I think it is one of the gifts of Unity teachings is I think we take the idea of self-responsibility even further. That's just inherent within our teachings. But with that, I think comes self-empowerment. Yeah. And as you said, I think there was sort of a shadow side in New Thought for some time that if someone had an illness, it was, oh, what did I do wrong? Right. How was my thinking wrong? And I don't think the Fillmores would ever kind of use that as a weapon. No. I think what's useful is to take what am I experiencing in this moment, and how can I now take these teachings and move forward with agency, right? And you
Right.
said that is to
Yeah.
move forward with agency. So I think that's the power when we talk about self-responsibility and self-empowerment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have one for you. Out of Charles's writings and what he places emphasis on, do you see one practical place to start?
Daily practice. Daily
Right,
practice.
right.
So daily practice of prayer and meditation. And again, that's one of our unity principles, but it wasn't written down, but it's all through their writing. And I think something that stood out differently for me this time, as I was kind of rereading the last few weeks, some of Charles' writings, is this difference between intellectual silence and spiritual silence. And I think, we talk a lot about how prayer and unity is different than other faith traditions, but I don't know that we always go into a lot of depth around how we look at meditation differently and what we really mean by the silence. And when I'm using silence here, I'm using silence with a capital S, not silence as in go and be quiet, but really Charles is writing about a silence that is a state of consciousness. It is a state of beingness. And it was an interesting distinguishment that he made between intellectual science, which is kind of a mental activity where we're focused on our thoughts and maybe the sounds around us. So it's a concentration practice. And he sees benefit in that. And many of our meditations are that, like a mindfulness practice. But he said what he feels is missing from that for him, in his experience, is a deep relationship to his soul and a deep listening to spirit. That for him, spiritual silence is that kind of deeper listening that is a communing with his soul, a communing with spirit or God, that place where you can hear kind of spiritual discernment, where you can hear the wisdom. And he really talks about it as more of a state of non-awareness, which in some ways seems contrary, right? Because you think as we grow spiritually, we become more aware. But in this state of spiritual silence, he talks about it as a state of non-awareness because you're in this state of timelessness. And so I kind of think it's very similar to artists or athletes that are in that flow state. If people have experienced that, you don't really kind of aren't tracking time, you're outside of time, right? So when I'm reading that, I'm sort of listening to that, and it seems very similar to me, that idea of spiritual silence, because you only know you've been in it once you're out of it. Right? And you have the realization sometimes and the insights afterwards, after you've been in that state of spiritual silence. So I think it's one of the really rich teachings in unity, and I don't think we really have spent a lot of time or spend a lot of time kind of making that distinction. And so, Charles Fillmore talks about that meditation is the process of reaching spiritual silence. So just let that sit, let that percolate.
That's beautiful.
And so with all of Charles's writing and meanderings, he can be very direct and specific. And so there's this one sentence, and he says, time should be given to prayer and meditation daily. We cannot grow without them, and no one who neglects them will successfully develop their spiritual powers. So that seems pretty clear and direct to me. So one of the directions we've been talking about maybe going in with this project is looking at how unity is evolving and can be evolving while still kind of anchored in our roots, our unity roots, and the teachings and experiences of our founders. And so obviously one of the big questions that comes up around that, and it's very present in the larger unity movement right now, is unity Christian, right? And some people say, no, it's not. And other people, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. But I love it. I think it's a great question.
It is.
So
It is a great question.
in what ways do you think it is, or maybe has taken a new kind of flavor or expression?
I always think of his teachings, of our co-founders, as this radical shift away, in this investment in expanding definitions, right? So he expanded a definition of God for us. God isn't a capricious, man in the sky, right, that we're begging to. God is, he was very influenced by the Transcendentalists, where God is everywhere intelligence and goodness, right? So that's one of the really big shifts, is that, and that essence, that divinity is within each of us. I mean, that's a big shift, right? And for some, that's heretical. That's a heretical teaching. And that we have sacred worth. Those are all big things. And the other thing is obviously is how we perceive Jesus. For him, Jesus was not someone to worship, or, for him, Jesus mastered. He was a historical, spiritual person who mastered a consciousness, and the consciousness that he called was a Christ consciousness. And we're invited to also master that consciousness. These are all really big shifts. Another big shift is, yes, absolutely, we read the Bible, but following Charles is we don't read it literally, but rather metaphysically, what's beyond it. And for him, it was this guideline of, these historical characters and their development and their relationship to God, and how they demonstrated God and demonstrated faith. And the idea is we're being invited to see how we see ourselves in that. So it's a very just radical shifts in that.
Yeah, I think one of the gifts of unity is the idea of being original blessing.
Yes.
That every person is original blessing.
Yeah.
And to look at that as a gift, and it's a significant shift. So unity's roots are in Christianity and kind of framed within that, and we still draw upon that, but it's a very different look than maybe kind of many other traditional Christian paths, certainly currently. And there's one place where I think Charles really kind of captures this different way of viewing kind of the idea of God and our relationship to God. And he writes, God is spirit, and we are the offspring of the spirit. God is mind, humans are the thinker. God is life, humans are living. God is substance, humans are the shape and form. God is love, humans are loving. And what this summarized for me and kind of just comes up with is, God is, right? God is. And we are the living expression. We are that Godness in action, right? And so we are all called to be that presence of love, to be that activity of spirit out in the world. So as I said, we could go on for hours. We're not going to keep you here for hours because we get to talking and we get super geeky and excited. And it's very surprising we stayed in our chair because we both talked about we're both movers.
Yes.
And our brains work best when we're moving. So you probably saw us puffing up and down. I should have said that at the beginning. But so Reverend Sonia, do you have a Charles gem that you would like to close with?
I do. And I think it go perfectly aligns with what you just read. And it is, if I have found God, I must demonstrate God. And to do this, I shall have no time to worry about what my brother is doing. I shall cease to be a reformer, if by that is meant one who is in the arena of battling for the right. Because the Spirit does not battle for anything. The Spirit demonstrates truth as it goes along, and its fruits are love and peace.
Thank you, Reverend Sonia.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you for
much.
being here today.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much.
So we come now to that time of giving of our tithes and our offerings. And so as our ushers are making their way forward, if you're joining online, you can text to give. The text number is 206-350-8448. You can also give via the website. And of course, those in the room, we accept paper. And there's little cards on the back of the chairs, and they have a QR code. So that's also a handy way to give. And so let us bless our offering together. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude.
This next song, some of you might have heard before. This is our unity version of it. It's called All Blues. by Miles Davis. Some of you might have heard of him. And I found out recently that the writer of the lyrics, the lyricist, was Oscar Brown Jr., who was a singer-songwriter, poet, activist, amazing man who got into a lot of good trouble. And he was actually called the world's first black newscaster. And he had this thing called a radio program that he did called Negro Newsfront in Chicago. So paying homage to the ancestors, all blues. Sea, sky, sea and sky and you and I. Sea, sky, you and I. They're all blues, all shades, all hues, all blues. Colors, yes, colors. Blues are more than colors. They are a moan of pain, a taste of strife, a sad refrain, the game which we are playing. Blues can be the evil dues we are all paying. Some blues are sad, some blues are very glad. You can dance if you want. Dark, bright, mad, glad, sad, they're all blues. Move your body. All shades, all hues, all blues. Drums. I said colors, yes colors. The blues are more than colors. They are a moan of pain, a taste of strife, a sad refrain. The game which we are playing. Blues can be the evil loving dues we are all paying. Everybody's playing and paying. Everybody's playing and paying. Playing love. Blues.
Ben Black.
Will our chaplains come up here with me as we begin our prayers? So let's begin by putting a blessing on our offering. So Father, Mother, God, we dedicate and consecrate these gifts to the will, the work, and the way of the living Spirit of truth. And so we are so grateful for the generosity of each giver, and may it return to you a millionfold. And it is so. Amen. So we want to do a shout out to Tom and Judy on Bainbridge, MJ's in Greenwood. Diane and Mike are in Linwood, Margaret's in Corvallis. Terry and Johnny are in Michigami, Michigan. I have never heard of that. Susan's in Hillman City. John, Suzanne, Eli and Ben are on Vashon. Marcia's in West Seattle. Deborah's in Milton. Terry in Southworth. Faith in Seward Park. Lisa in Port Townsend. Chris in Renton. Jana in Edmonds. Nancy's in Chicago. Tracy's in Edmonds. And Nola, hi Nola, is in West Seattle. So now let's just take a moment as we move to our heart space, connecting with our thoughts as we send forth love and prayers. I want to begin with Kimberly and sending healing, light, and energy, as well as to Charlie. We hold and we bless Tim C. and family, Vicky and Bill, Jan and Christine, Joan, Debbie, Sally and Ross, Rob and Charlie, Mitch, Binky, Pin, Eric, Jackson, Robbie, Marcia, Mike and Stevie, Susan, Sabrina, Ann, Scott, Kate, Lori, and we especially remember Ben on this day. We hold in our prayers Gaza and Israel, the Ukraine and Russia, any other place that is in strife and in turmoil, we hold for our country. And if you know someone or someplace that is in need of prayer, please speak the names now. And so we know this truth together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let's sing one closing song together. I invite you to stand again as you are able. If you'd like to hold hands, we love doing that. But it's unity, and you can say no, and you don't even have to explain why. It's amazing. I want to remind you again also, we have that open house. That's this week on Friday, and Karen R., who is amazing, by the way, and does so many things to make this place run. It's incredible. She kind of carries everything. I'm sure you've got a person in one of your institutions who is the person, who is a keystone, who does everything. Karen R. is that, to me at least. So if you are planning to come to this Friday, join her upstairs after this service, and she would be so grateful.